see her move, I know how efficient she can be. So I know where she should be in a workout. And we talk about stuff like this. The whole open, we analyzed every single workout. And I'd be like, we call her brain. She knows everything. And she does it, she reads it, and then all of a sudden it's in there forever. She talks about jellyfish, and you're like, jellyfish are pretty interesting. And then she reads Wikipedia, and then did you know jellyfish does this? And then 3 weeks later, it's like, yeah, I remember the jellyfish and their brains and how it's connected to the, you're like, what? How did you remember that? She's an amazing, amazing person. So we analyze these workouts, and it's the mentality of it. I'll tell her, hey, brain, I think that in this workout, you're going to get 16 rounds. And she'll be like, you're stupid. Guess what? I'm usually right. I usually can tell her how many rounds she's going to get, what's her time. I've analyzed her movement and my movement that we're so good at breaking down workouts that it's not that bad. So when you guys start to look at workouts, I encourage you to kind of look at the workout and get into the good mindset of it's not that bad. It really could be worse. Seriously, Fran times 6. Dave Castro's probably doing that at the games this year. Okay, Helen times 3, why not? But get in the mindset that it's really not that bad, and it's breaking it down. It's 21 reps of thrusters, it's 21 pull-ups. That's it. 21, 21. Done. That gets to go away. Sweet. Right? And then start thinking about how long realistically it's going to take you. Right? I know that first set of thrusters, I'm going to get it unbroken. I'm determined to get that first set unbroken because I'm fresh. Okay? Then I jump up on the pull-ups. I'm going to try to get that first set unbroken. If I don't, I'm not devastated. My plan hasn't gone to shit, but I have a plan. And then you have a back pocket plan. And then you just kind of throw your hands up and say, let's just figure it out together. Right? But having a plan, setting yourself up to succeed is so important. Literally, I do this every single day. And don't get me wrong, there's days where I'll see a workout and just be like, seriously? And it takes me a few hours to get to the right mindset. Okay, I'm not perfect by any means. I have many flaws. We're not going to go there because we're a few more hours. But you have to set yourself up to succeed. It's more important than that physical warm-up. Okay? I challenge you to go to the gym when they put up frame, when they put up Murph, when they put up squat snatches. Okay? If you go, oh, I hate wall ball, guess what you should be doing? Wall ball. Because if you do wall ball enough, you stop hating it, and it turns out to be not that bad. Okay? Just like frame. That's why we do this to our athletes. Our athletes at Valley CrossFit get literally no more than 5 minutes of knowing what the workout is on the board and to doing it. Okay? I write their workout, so I write their warm-up. They're extremely warm when they're ready to go. So that when I write the workout and it's Fran, I say, go get your bars, start warming up your thrusters with that empty barbell. I want to see 3 sets before you get to the working weight. Now, it can be light for them. We might be modifying. I have time to converse with some people who are like, I don't know if I can do it at 65 pounds. No problem. What do you think you can do it at? I think I can do it at 45. Really? I think you can do it at 55. They'll be like, no. And I'll say, you're doing it at 55. And they're like, okay. I don't really leave a lot of discussion with them. I tell them what they're doing. Because I know it'll make them better. Okay? I know that's what I did. That's what Katie and I did. You know, we've been doing this for 6 years. We did a lot of shit we didn't want to do. Why? Because Chris, who's good at everything, would be like, we're doing this. And we're like, no, okay. It's very stern. She doesn't take a lot of shit. So when she told us we're doing something, we did something. When we worked out with the class in the early stages when we still took classes and there were no coaches, all those days, I miss those days, cherish those days. Those are great days. Put the work on the board and there'd be men's weight, 135. We all look at each other. Literally, there's Lindsay Valenzuela, Katie Hogan, Kristen Clever. We'd all look at each other as like a checkpoint. Yep, we're all doing it. Okay? We'd look at that men's weight. It might not be the fastest workout or as fast as it is intended to be, but we knew we were all going to compare ourselves and our times to each other. And if we can move it just a little bit faster than the other, we're going to win. Or we're just going to struggle and get better. Right? Don't always take the easy route. Now ask your coach before you go up in weight, because maybe they're intending the workout to be quick, fast, and dirty and painful. Okay? But go outside your limits. Okay? It helps. It makes you a better athlete. It helps you outside of the regular world. Any questions about how we do things at Valley?
We actually have a live feed on Twitter, and somebody tweeted, actually Stephen from RX Networking, asked, what stretch would you say is the most important? We have a little bit of a delay, so we're still back on the stretch a little bit. What do you think is the most important stretch?
Yes. No. The most important stretch. The most important stretch for me would be my ankle stretching. Literally, I just band distraction, passing my ankle through ranges of motion. My tib fib really like to get stuck. So when I move it around and stretch, I get a lot of cracks, pops, and a lot more space in there. So for me, that's the most important stretch. It's so different for every individual. What stretch do I think, or what mobility aspect that I don't think people really get into? Mobility on the shoulder girdle. I think that's one that you all miss. I mean, take a look around. I'm going to call you out right now. How many of you are sitting like this? Oh, yeah, right? You guys are like, not me! Hell no! Right? Shoulder girdle. Can you stand up for a second? I'm not going to pick on you. You're literally taking a lacrosse ball and you're driving it and you put your hand on your back. You can see this is a shoulder blade, right? And you're literally taking a lacrosse ball, starting here, you're laying on it, you're passing your arm through a range of motion, trying to unstick a lot of those muscles, the fascia, and you're moving it all the way up to the first rib. It's amazing. It's so painful in the beginning. It's so painful in the beginning because you haven't done it, but the benefits are amazing. Absolutely amazing. And so after a few weeks, it's not painful, and literally everything starts to readjust and settle. So I think most people should try that one, and I think a lot of people will benefit from it. Did you have a question over there? Nope, I thought someone did. Yep.
How do you determine the makeup of your wife? Since you're just, and you have, you know what you're going to give your class, but on what basis do you use each wife?
What do you mean?
You decide, today I'm going to have them all do this.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to have them do, where do you get your makeup of your wife? Your reality?
Yeah, so basically, I love spreadsheets. I geek out on spreadsheets. They're so cool. Imagine it. There's things you can do. Yeah, I love spreadsheets. And so I have a spreadsheet with almost every single movement that there is in CrossFit. And so I always start with my strengths. On Mondays and Wednesdays, we do strength. It's a kind of a format that Katie started when she was coaching these classes. I took over for her when she decided to move and leave my life. So we kind of stayed with that. Strengths are on Monday, so then we always do a lower body strength, deadlift, back squat, front squat, something like that. And then we do an upper. And then on Tuesdays, I kind of start where I want the meat of my workouts. So we always once a week have a long workout, It might be a bunch of running, it might be a lot of cardio, it might be heavy weights, moving, body weight movements. And so there's usually one workout that I was like, oh, that was really good that I've done. Or with my research, I've seen a workout that I'm like, oh, I like that. I might change it a little bit. And then I place that one in. And then as I go through the spreadsheet, I'm marking off those movements that we've already done. And maybe we'll hit one that we've already done through the week or something. But for the most part, I'm trying to make it as diverse as possible. My clients and my classes really like strength. Okay? If I could program snatch and squat, clean, and jerks every single day, they would be in heaven. Literally heaven. Guess what I don't do? I don't give them heaven much. Okay? They have their list on Monday, they have their list on Wednesday. Guess what they hate to do? Oh, yeah, you got on pretty quick. It's not hard. Yeah, so then I make sure there is running to some degree. Every 3 months they run a 5K. Okay? And you know what happens? People know it's coming. We have a calendar, I swear. Someone has to. And so the day that they miss, they'll be like, run a 5K or row a 5K. And some people are like, thank God I missed it. And guess what happens the next day? Hey guys, if you didn't run that 5K, you're doing the 5K in my class, everyone else is doing this. They really have no room to hide. Just on Monday or Tuesday, all my athletes came in. So a lot of them are, getting ready for the team regionals. There's some individuals, they're coming in, they all came at the same time. Perfect storm. I was like, oh yes. 5 of them hate to run, absolutely hate to run. And they kind of got what's going on in here. They got the programming. Usually Thursdays are running day. I caught on to their genius. So Tuesday, they had to run a mile, row an 800, 100 double unders, run another mile. They absolutely hated me. At least they hated me in the beginning. They looked at the board and they're like, seriously? I'm like, yeah, that's what you're doing. Seriously. No, really, that's what you're doing. Unless you want to run a 5K. And they did the workout, they got through it, and guess what? 5 of them said, those 5 that like strength only, wow, thanks Becca, that was really awesome, have a good night. And I'm not kidding you. These people, you guys are really coming to the gym not to specialize, right? You don't want that. Yeah, your brain's saying, let's just do the easy stuff. But I challenge you to just not look at the board, don't go online the night before, and just go. If you want to go, go. If you want to go to hang out with your friends, that's the best reason to go. Go, get a side benefit, I got to work out, right? I challenge you for a week not to look at that. When someone's like, hey, did you see the workout? Just be like, no! You're not doing it. It'll make you a better athlete. Literally in a week, you'll be a better athlete. You've done stuff you hate. Climb a rope. My athletes don't get to dodge. They might miss something because they're doing a rest day. I don't tell them when to rest. But they're going to get to it. I'll be like, hey, you didn't get to do the muscle ups. Guess what? After class, you're doing muscle ups. And they'll be like, how do you know? I'm not an idiot. My job is to make you better. Okay? I'm not letting you get out of this easy. And that's what you guys need to do for yourselves, okay? I mean, hopefully you have coaches that will do that for you. But if you don't, write the list of stuff you hate. Make it stuff that you don't mind, right? Because that's what this is all about. If you hate pull-ups, what happens when you're dangling off that building? That's gonna happen. You want to get yourself up off the building. You know where Yeah.
2 questions. Did you open ballet or just coach there?
I just coached there.
All right. And
A lot of people wish I opened it.
my second question is, if you program for so many other people and you know what it takes to program, why do you hire somebody to program for you? Like, what's the difference?
That's a good question because, like all of you, I don't want to do the stuff that I suck at, right? I program for so many people. I really don't want to think when it comes to me. All right, I want to be challenged. I don't want to know what the workout's going to be a few days before. I want to literally wake up in the morning and have that oh shit moment and look at the workout and be like, all right, this is what I'm doing. Okay, I think so much about what I need you guys to do that I don't want to think about that for me. I don't want to second guess my judgment if I'm really programming correctly for me. And really, if I program for myself, it'd be all day long, and it'd be 900 skills. And then I'm not getting any fitter anyways, right? I want somebody else who can kind of take me on that path. And it helps tremendously. And I train a lot of high-class athletes. You know, I do have some top games competitors, and they hire me so that they don't have to think. You know, we're pretty smart, some of us aren't, but we're pretty smart. We know what we need to do. It's just getting it all in and then actually doing the stuff we hate. I mean, tell yourself you're going to run 5K this week and then stick to it. It's hard. It's really hard. Is there another question over here? Hopefully that makes sense to you. You're like, no, you're crazy for paying someone. Look at all that wisdom. I like to procrastinate too. So if someone, they're holding me accountable. You know, I wish I didn't have to be held accountable. I would get it done. You tell me to run a 5K, I don't want to, but it's not that bad. You just go run. You know, it might not be your personal best, but guess what? For that day and what you've done that week, you did your best. And that's all we ask. If you PR, that's great. But it's not going to happen every day. So don't expect it's going to happen every day. Do what you can that day and make yourself better that day. Have your expectations at that level, right? Any questions? Do you guys need a break? Walk around, you're like, no, let's just get to the point.
No, that you have so many athletes with different skill sets, and they're, beginners, advanced. How do you, in a class of 25 people, I know you're doing, whether it is squat snatches, there's a beginner who's, a mod, who's a favorite meeting, who's not as good. How do you spend your time, or do you go around and help that person, or even how do you program to all the different levels of people? Because in our classes, it's, you come in, some people could be more advanced than others, and the workout is what the workout is. I don't know if there's a different mindset and thinking, all right, this is my class, how do I go about the program to the overall?
Yeah,
I don't know if
absolutely.
that makes sense.
It does. Do you guys have questions? Just ask me, how do I program to kind of an all levels class? So fortunately for the class that I've been speaking about, it is a intermediate and advanced class. So I don't have to, unless somebody comes in and is a guest, or someone's the first time, we're like, surprise, I'm coming to your 5 o'clock class, which does happen from time to time. But fortunately for me, I can be like, all right, we're doing squat snatch, go grab a bar, let's drill some things really quick, and then you guys are going to start adding some weight to whatever working set we're going to do, right? And so it's easier, and I get to walk around to everybody, and I touch. Not literally touch. I get to kind of spend some time with each athlete, watching, observing, and getting through, and I'm telling them cues that I think will help them and benefit. Now, I do coach beginners classes, and our beginners classes are those beginners who are brand new, just wanting to learn CrossFit, and then we have those permanent beginners, okay? Those people who are like, I'm never going to one of Becca's intermediate classes. It's not going to happen, which I don't know why, because I program exactly the same. It's just a little watered down, right? This stuff is cool, it's scalable. So when I get to those people, it's not that it's this big chore, but if I have some athletes who know what they're doing, they're kind of sent off, and unfortunately they fend for themselves, okay? We might drill together, and I might get some technique down, but then once my beginners, once they kind of break out, then I can actually be like, okay, you're not using the barbell, we're gonna use some dumbbells for you. And I do spend that extra time with them so that they're actually getting benefits out of what I want them to do. You know, snatches are hard, clean and jerks are hard for beginners. They usually take the barbell out and give them dumbbells. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, I want to do what they're doing. Like, you gotta understand, I need you to do this well. I need you to do this efficiently. I need you to do this safely. So I have to scale you. But you're still getting the same move. You guys are doing the same movement, right? And so I do spend a lot of time with my beginners classes. We break things down. They don't get to do the fun, cool shit that we might do at 5 o'clock, right? My hour might be spent with teaching the majority of the time. And that's okay. Okay, sometimes you just gotta let them go. So I will get them moving correctly, and then throughout the entire workout, I'm walking around, I'm yelling at you to get down deeper. I'm telling you to keep that dumbbell closer. So I'm constantly coaching the entire time. I don't write the workout out and then just kind of like get on my phone. It's not gonna happen, you know. You need to be an active coach. And if your coaches aren't doing that at your gym, you need to demand it. Okay? I know that sounds really bossy and bitchy, but that's what you're paying for. You want to be yelled at to some degree. It might be like, great job! It might be like, get the fuck on the bar! Depends on what kind of yelling you like. And that's kind of what you learn about your athletes too, right? I know Tim hates being yelled at in a negative manner. I don't do that. I'm not going to do that to him. I want positive results, not negative results. And so I'm going to keep it really positive and over the top fun. And I'm not doing it in genuine. I'm being very genuine, but I want him to succeed. And so I'm going to do everything in my powers to do that.
Sorry, I think I got but
Don't apologize.
what is your, like, do you think that all coaches should know how to do everything that they teach? Like, a coach is teaching a muscle up. Do you think that every coach needs to learn how to need to know how to do a muscle up? Like,
I think they do need to know how to do a muscle up. I don't necessarily think they need to know how to do it physically.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, do you,
No, I don't. Some of the best coaches can't do, and that's okay. I think you need to know and be educated to the tools of which to get an athlete to do it. Okay, you should have that general grasp. You should know lowering progressions if it's muscle up. Okay, it's easier if you can show, but there's so many athletes around here with so many different skill sets. You can pull that person on up to demonstrate. But you do need the knowledge to learn how. I'm constantly learning. I do it for myself, for my own personal growth, but also for my athletes. I want to learn how to explain a muscle up a new way. So I'm constantly learning, but I might not be able to show that way very well. I own up on a lot of things. I'll be like, I'm gonna try this right now. I might fail. And my athletes are like, okay, she might fail. Cool. And then it's just a little bit more acceptance. You know, I'm very honest with people. You know, speaking to people scares the shit out of me. You're lucky I came. It's really early. Does that make sense though?
I was just kind of separate, more personal to you. I would like to know like your best CrossFit moment, and also a moment when maybe you struggled or a time or what happened to change it, how you got better from it. So 2 questions.
Okay. My best moment, which you would think I've placed 3rd in the CrossFit Games, and that's not my best moment. It's not. My best moment has actually been captured on film. It's a picture that I have in my living room. It is the moment when, and this was in 2010, it was the year that I did, was it 2010? Yeah, and it was the year that I did take 3rd. It was also the year that I tied for 1st with my best friend, Katie Hogan. It was the year that Lindsay Valenzuela, Katie Hogan, and Becca Voigt from Valley CrossFit stood on that podium. 3 girls swept from Valley CrossFit. My favorite moment is the second that last workout was over, I looked at Katie, Lindsay's right there. It's a picture of all three of us, and we're literally saying we're going to the games. And it was such a cool moment to share with my friends, my training partners, my adversaries. Like it's just the best moment on the planet. It was just so great. Getting engaged was pretty cool. But that absolutely is one of my most favorite CrossFit moments. And it's a reminder that yes, we're here to compete, but we're also here to make a lot of friends. That's not the purpose that you come here, but if I asked you your professions, why the hell would we be friends? You're a doctor, I'm dumb. Right? We come together with this one thing that we suffer together and we become best friends. It's so cool. This community is awesome. But so that is definitely my most favorite moment. The moments that I've struggled with, and they are separate, however, very much the same. In 2008, I had knee surgery. It was supposed to be a quick, easy surgery, and it was. I started to get back into the gym pretty quick after it, and then I got a staph infection. And so they had to go back in, they cleaned out the entire knee joint, and then cut out everything that was infected. And I had an intravenous line 24 hours a day for 7 days, and I hoped and prayed that it was gone. And it did, and the staph infection was not MRSA, so I was fortunate. But coming back from that second surgery was a lot harder. And at that point, I knew that I wanted to be a competitor. I wanted to do the games again. Katie had just come into the gym at that point, and it was the new Becca. I hadn't met this chick, but this new Becca had come in, and I was like, who is this bitch? Why is she the new Becca? It was one of those surreal moments where I was like, I'm gonna hate her, or we're gonna be best friends. And I was having a good day that day, so we became friends. But with that knee surgery, and she tells this story often, she was training and she was new. She didn't lift a lot, which is baffling to me at this point. And I'd be on my crutches and I'd walk up to her and be like, is that all you're deadlifting? And she was nice to me at that point. She'd be like, maybe. I'm like, put some more weight on the bar. This is a true story. And then she'd be like, I'm done. That's all I can do. And I'd be like, put some more weight on the bar. And that's kind of
your direct goal of you ready me that you're like, I'm gonna be back soon. And she had butts away, and I'd be like, and she's like, I'm coming back soon, and then she's all the way away.
It's absolutely true. In 2009, when I did make it to the games, that was a proving point for myself. I didn't go to the games to win. I really didn't. Mentally, I was not prepared to go that extra mile to win. It was literally to prove to myself that I could still do it. And when I ran up the hill, it hurt. And that whole year was a tough year. It was one of my lowest finishes in the games. And it was tough. I've had several surgeries in my lifetime. And in January of this year, I had another one, my wrist. And that was the second moment for which it's been very tough. From January to February, I had a lot of reflecting to do. I had a lot of thinking to do about the sport. And if I had the courage and the guts to do it again, or if I was even capable of doing it again. When I started training, and I trained very soon after the surgery, not to my doctor's recommendation, that's okay. It was a lot of self-doubt. It was a tough time. Definitely, February was very trying. Trying to do pull-ups, trying to get back to where I was. I didn't think there was a shot in hell that I was going to do it. And it was one of those things that I really had to sit down with myself and just tell myself to snap out of it. And that's a hard conversation. And you guys know you've had some issues in your life, I'm sure. If you haven't, congratulations. But to tell yourself to snap out of it and get over it is really hard. You know, I'd walk into the gym and see Kristen Clever snatching 180, literally 55 pounds over her body weight, and you're just kind of like, I'm screwed. And that was the mindset for a little bit. And getting out of that was probably a very, very trying, or very difficult. And I'm not sure if I would have made it if it was another week. I might have just went team and did the easy thing. But then I think one day handstand push-ups came a little bit easier. And then from there I was just like, okay, I can do this. That person's not better than me, and I can beat them. And then from that moment on, it just kind of got a lot easier. But it's been a tough year. It really has. And some things click, and there's days where I'll text my coach and be like, I suck. And be like, you cannot define your workouts or your whole future of CrossFit based on one workout. You can't do it. I'm extremely fortunate for Ben Bergeron. He is an amazing coach, and he makes me really look at myself and truly look at myself and think about what I can influence. That's his big thing. I'll be like, Kristen Clever beat me by 5 minutes. You'd be like, who cares? It's like, what could you have done better? And then we talk about that. And that's another thing. You need to analyze your workouts. Getting back to kind of, we've skipped a lot of stuff. It's all right, I'm having fun. Analyzing your performance is extremely important, right? When I'm done with my workout, and as I go through my workout, if I'm working out with somebody, it's a lot easier to just go. Don't you guys agree? When you're working out with somebody and that person's ahead of you or behind you, it's easier to pick up the bar. It is. I don't want anyone to catch me, and I sure don't want anyone to beat me. And that's kind of how we all have done this. I'm convinced. And you're like, no, that's not me. You're lying. So it's one of those things where I work out by myself a lot. Yes, I work out with Kristen if I have time and if I'm on her schedule. She's never on mine. Another story. So I make rules for myself. And then I make my classes do those rules. I have the power. So one of my main rules when I'm working out is I'm not allowed to rest my hands on my legs. I cannot do this ever. Okay, if I do, it's 10 burpees for every time I do it, or 10 muscle ups per time, depending on how bad I want to torture myself. I have a theory, and I'm practicing this with my students. If I catch them on their knees, it is 10 burpees after class. Okay? I have a theory. You can rest as long as you want. It's harder to rest like this, watching everybody else move. It's 10 times harder to just stand there. It's really easy to go into your cave and look down and all of a sudden get lost in yourself. So I told myself I'm not going to allow myself to do that. The longer I'm here, it's the more the person's getting ahead of me. And I refuse to hinder my performance. I refuse. I'm going to do everything I can. Doesn't mean I don't rest. I rest. But I make sure that I've earned that rest and I'm not hiding. I feel like it's easy to hide down there. So that's one of the rules that I've done. I've also told myself, I have notes on this. What else do I say? I really make myself deals. Like, if I drop off the bar, I count out loud how long I'm resting. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. And believe me, when we did the open wads, my fiance literally was shouting, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it would get to 10 and I was like, oh shit, I'm wasting time. It's really helped me. I've really started to count in my head how long it takes me to rest. You better believe Annie barely rests, right? Annie Thor's daughter is crazy. She barely rests. And so I need to remember that when I compete. Okay, no matter if it's just a daily workout or a competition. But it's a good practice. And so that's something that you guys should really do in your practice. This stuff isn't mindless. I hate to break it to you. It's not. You have to be very active if you want to get better. And I think by you all being here, you want to be better, right? So after the workout's all said and done, you are laying on the ground, you're like, yes, I'm done. No, you're not. Guess what? There's a lot more that we have to do. So when I finish a workout, when I'm cleaning up my weights or whatever I'm done, I'm now reflecting on what I could have done better. I'm not reflecting on who's cheated to beat me. That's what I think. Okay, I'm not thinking about so-and-so. I'm literally looking at how I lost time. Okay, how did the dude in the corner that has injured his leg beat me in a run? What did I do wrong? Where was I hurting? Why did I rest? Those are all questions that have gone into my head and I'm thinking about it. I also do this at competition. I look at that and I don't answer those questions right away, but after a workout, I have a little piece of paper and it's like, what was I good at? What do I need to work on? And I might answer that really quick and then not even think about it for the rest of the competition. But I'm reading it again at the end, okay, the next day, a few days later. I really need to figure out what I can do to get better. You know, if I need to practice my handstand walking, then I know that's what I need to work on. And it's helpful. I'm really analyzing what's going on. And then after my workout, I'm thinking about my nutrition. Nutrition. Mental preparation and nutrition is more important than actually doing. Kind of false, but whatever. Nutrition is extremely important. When I'm done with my workout, I'm getting my branched chain amino acids, I'm getting my protein shake, and then I get to eat a banana. You guys are like, who cares? That's a big thing, right? And so hopefully you guys have questions about nutrition. Nutrition's interesting. I've done several experiments about nutrition. My post-workout meal or nutrition is new. I'm trying it out for the first time on my coach's recommendation, and it's really, really working. Who knew what he was talking about? I've played around with nutrition since the beginning, okay? I might have an eating disorder. No, I'm kidding, I don't. I really don't. But I look in the mirror and I might see something different than you do, okay? I might look in the mirror and be like, wow, I really need to work this area. What exercises can I do? I don't know. But I do look in the mirror and I might look at it and be just, this isn't a good thing. I do step on the scale on a daily basis and I'm like, I feel like 155 today. And some days I'm right. Okay, I'm pretty good at seeing what's going on with my body. And that might mean that I'm not sleeping enough. Okay, it might mean my nutrition was off or my training is a little too hard. Okay, and I need to rest an extra day or something. Okay, that's what I do when I'm looking in the mirror. You wanna come over? Wanna come up? Hang out. And that's something that you guys can be doing too. You need to be a little bit more aware of your nutrition. This year has been a fun experiment with my nutrition. In the month of September to about December, I did carb backloading. I don't know if you've ever heard of Keeper. He only goes by Keeper, which is so weird. I'll just tell you what. He wrote this plan, this theory, and he also has another one. It's called Carb Night. It's literally eating fats and proteins during the day, and for carb backloading, you at night eat carbs. And his thing is cherry popovers and high quality, non-processed foods. And you know what? That shit's great. During the month of September and December, I'm able to do that. You know why? guess what I'm trying to do during those months as well?
Get stronger.
Get strong. Season's not starting, so I have a little bit more breathing room. And you know what? Getting strong and getting fat is great. You actually don't get fat, and that's this whole thing. You don't. I had so much muscle mass, and I was lean. It was amazing what happened, and it was fun. I had a lot of fun in that time period. And then my training started to switch. And guess what? Then things started to kind of stack on. I started to feel a little heavy. I started to feel thick. And at that point, I said, okay, we've kind of stepped away from the strength. We're now getting back to strength and endurance. And it's time that I need to change my eating. And like I said, this is very different. Previous years, I've done strict paleo with one cheat meal a day, or excuse me, a week. A day is free. But now I was really, truly experimenting with nutrition. And so after that time span, about December to March, I went straight paleo. And at night I'd have some yam. I did have some rice, but it was still at night, still kind of following that backloading, but a lot more clean. Definitely not to his recommendation. It's not something he would recommend. And it helped for a bit. Okay, I started to get a little bit more lean. My endurance started to come up. That was partially to my training, but to my eating as well. Recovery started to get a little bit easier for me. And so it was one of those things where everything started to get back into balance. And then my coach said, hey, you want to try zone? And I was like, nope. And then I said, okay.
Yeah.
So now, for this last April, and I'm going to continue it on until after regionals and then we'll reassess, I've been doing zone. Okay, I'm not preaching on what is great. I don't recommend you taking the path that I've done. I recommend you looking at your nutrition and finding out what works for you. Okay, it's not cookie cutter. And if somebody says it is, they've never tried it. Okay, you know, Katie and Hogan and I are very different athletes. And we eat very different from each other, except today, cheat day. I celebrate those things, okay? It's a reward for eating so well.
My issue with paleo was that, like, I stopped eating bread and all that stuff, and grains, all that stuff. And I lost a bunch of weight really quickly.
Sorry.
But I just, like, I was weaker too. Like, I wasn't getting stronger. Like, I used to eat pasta every day. Like, that's my thing. I love pasta. But, like, after I stopped eating pasta, I felt like I wasn't getting any energy whatsoever.
And you probably weren't. So the paleo is very different. You are trying to get to ketosis, so you are trying to burn that fat. And unfortunately for athletes, it is something where you have to increase your fats or add starchy carbs. And so it's kind of a different blend. He did come out with a Paleo for Athletes book, and he does touch on eating starchier carbs with your meal. Cordain. Yeah. Cordain, he writes a book on paleo, and then there's one for paleo every day, and then there's paleo for athletes. And that one does touch on actually eating starchier stuff. And it might be, you might have to, maybe not the pasta, the wheat stuff. I mean, most people have some sort of allergy, whether you know it or not, to pasta. Some people don't, but you know, rice and yams, that's something that I do add in, and it helps me a lot. You need that energy, so you're not getting it from protein. And unless you increase your fats and get good quality fats, not nuts, it's going to be hard. So it's one of those things, yeah, if you don't lose a ton of weight, that's not going to help. You're just like, yay, kettlebells. I mean, what's the benefit of that? There isn't any. So you want to make sure that you're really tailoring it to you, and you might add in some rice once a day, however much, and just kind of see. If you gain a little weight and you're still dragging, then it didn't work. Throw that one out and try something else. But don't just go with what everyone says you should do. You know, it's a book. Yes, there's one opinion, but opinions are something like assholes.
Kind of 3-part question.
3 parts, should I write it down?
Okay. I learned about